ran back in time, stopped Reverse Flash from killing your mom, and then lived in an alternate reality where both your parents were alive.
Hey, Slugger. What should we call this brave new world that you've whipped up for us? I was thinking Flashpoint.
Yo, welcome back, guys. This is going to be the season recap of season 3 of The Flash. It started off with, and might I just say that season 3 is actually, it was actually very, very good in many ways, but in other ways it was a little bit cliche. It was a little bit of dragginess and a little bit rushed. But knowing that there's 23 episodes, it was actually a very well done job for the whole season. But other than that, you know, some of the things I didn't like was how fast we got through some of the characters. Some of the stories didn't quite match with the comics, but it's nice because sometimes you don't always need that. Sometimes you can add in your own flair, and that's kind of what the CW and the Flash did along with the creators. And again, this season is full of a lot of jumpy, exciting moments like, oh shit, I wouldn't have expected that, or all this, or all that. So just a heads in advance, obviously, for all you guys. Spoiler alert. So if you guys don't want to know anything of season 3, you guys don't want to know anything that happened and any specific locations or secrets that happened throughout the season of season 3 of The Flash, I would kind of watch it first and then get back to this. But in advance, like it up, thumbs up, subscribe, flex it out. What if you guys doing all things justice? I want to thank you guys for that. So with this being the season 3 recap, it starts off with us knowing that Barry Allen wanted to really change the timeline after losing his dad in season 2, and a big whole part of that is him going back in time to create the famous Flashpoint. Now the Flashpoint only lasts for like maybe 1.5 episodes, and Barry kind of lives in a mirage of what would happen and what wouldn't happen. Like Wally West would become Kid Flash, and Caitlin Snow would have become Killer Frost and develop snow powers and stuff like that, frost powers, ice powers. And little does Barry know that he would actually create like a remnant of himself, which would turn out to become, and here it is right here, the whole big season finding that everybody wanted to know: who is Savitar? Savitar, the main villain. Barry Allen is Savitar. Now, typically in the comics, Savitar is the god of speed. He doesn't really have a name, but he's just a being who is the first ever speedster to get the power of speed through the Speed Force. And he is like the god of speed, obviously, Savitar. There is no known name for him. He looks quite different in the comics, but I kind of like the little edgy look that they gave him. The white lightning means he is the fastest. Usually with lightning, after you see those little blurs when they run, that kind of tells you like how fast they are and stuff like that. But obviously that only means so much, because Barry gets faster and he becomes a little bit faster than Savitar to a point, or just takes better angles and stops him, obviously, or not really. But because, wink wink, it's actually Iris West who shoots him in the back after Barry stops him and kind of punches and beats the crap out of him out of his suit. And that is probably this is really jumping, but that's a big, like, it's kind of like a big thing that should have been changed, in my opinion. Like, you just beat the crap out of him, but you didn't stop him, but you were trying to have pity on him. But he's the remnant, and it's more like an evil remnant in the Savitar suit, and he became Savitar based on the Mirage, based off the past, based off Flashpoint, and that's how this whole season took place. So I would have thought Savitar was someone else. I really didn't think it was going to be Barry, but Barry kind of had like a messed up, stitched up, scarred face, and that's because of how he treated his friends, what happened, an explosion to the face, like just a bunch of fights, and he was good, then he turned evil. And then they actually go to another alternate Earth to get help to learn more secrets of who is Savitar, and he was using phrases, so it kind of gave you subtle hints throughout the season who Savitar was. And I think besides all, again, we have different villains, different hires, different villains who are trying to stop Barry for different reasons, or Savitar is using him for his own personal gain. But at the beginning, the whole season is based around that in a short and condensed description. And you know, at the beginning of the whole season through the middle, you're really, like, Barry's really trying to figure, oh, what's going on? Everybody's changing. Everything's changed. Why is this like this? Why does Caitlin have powers? It's good that Barry and Iris West are actually doing good, and they're actually a couple bumps here and there, but other than that, they're going really well. Other than the fact that he has a vision at one point that he does not tell everybody Iris West will die. Now, Iris West is supposed to get stabbed by Savitar, and about the middle to the second half of the season, we are figuring out that Barry needs to stop Savitar and try to be fast enough. And Wally West, he gets his powers. He gets his powers after he comes out of like this frozen molted thing that Savitar trapped him in for a while. And he gets his powers, and it started out because of the particle accelerator to give Barry back his powers in season 2. And this is a big thing because that's also how Jesse Quick is created. Jesse, Harrison Wells, Earth 2, you know. But he goes back, and then they need another Harrison Wells. So who do they bring? They're trying to find this and that because Harry will leave. Harrison Wells, Earth 2, will leave, and we will drag along Harry. And obviously at the end of the season, Harry dies because they use this little face mirage, like disappearing thing, and that actually, fast forwarding the whole season here, that is the reason why Iris West lives, but Harry dies. Harry dies, and the little romance you see between Harry and a woman that has the smarts and mechanism techniques to create a weapon that can stop and slow down Savitar could be made and should be made. But obviously, knowing that Savitar has all of the visions and knows Barry's every move, they try to do everything to prevent that, and they actually try to cross off things throughout the timeline to cool down Savitar's memory. And I'm going to refer to Savitar because it's not the real Barry Allen, just more of like a condensed and created one through the Flashpoint, and that is how that Savitar got created ultimately. Without taking too much time to describe that. And Flashpoint really affected the whole thing because it allows his parents to live. But then after Flashpoint, he realized what changed and what didn't change, and that he couldn't be there that long. And Reverse Flash was actually in there and helped him escape back into it. But the Earth he would go back into would be better than the whole Mirage. And in which case, he would have to try to make everything better again. Obviously, Cisco has a grudge with Barry throughout like the first fourth of the season of season 3 because he allowed or killed the death of Cisco's brother, because his brother was alive, and he just spent a lot of time trying to rebuild his friendships and stuff like that. And that's kind of like personal struggles, and that's a lot of cliche going on, but sometimes you have that. A lot of people think it's a bad thing, but sometimes you just can't get it. You just can't get it out of the mix. So other than that, we're going to really be introduced to a new character at the same time, because before the full-on notice and discovering of Savitar and what's going on with this guy, this main villain, who is also really bad, really fast, and while thinking that Wally West can stop him because Wally West has acquired his new powers. Before all of that, we also get introduced to this famous Julian. Julian is a scientist or architect and also a partner in crime of CSI agent Barry Allen, who does not know he's the Flash, and he gets introduced as part of a configuration of the Speed Force, not the Speed Force, the Flashpoint that happened when he went back in time to try to rechange the the reality of things. And Julian is brought back because Julian wasn't part of that, and Julian actually turns out to be Dr. Alchemy. Now, Dr. Alchemy, kind of like a different Persona type villain. He has the stone. This stone allows for a change of time. There's a lot of power built in the stone. It can do a lot of things. It can even cause massive energy deconstruction to even alternate time and space and the continuum of everything. And it can even slow down time a little bit by using it the right way. And it's a very valuable stone. And that's one of Dr. Alchemy's preferred powers, as in the comics. And he also has different, but it's all like on a chemistry type basis. But he also has like a different side and a more nicer side. But I'm not going to get into the whole comic thing, because there's a good side of Dr. Alchemy and there's a bad side. And sometimes they configure it, and then the good side dies, the bad side lives, and then it's just the whole fucked up situation. Not going down that road. But they tossed that in there in this season. I thought that was very nice. But it turns out Julian and they showed the side of Julian being Dr. Alchemy, and he actually starts the whole cult with Savitar. He works with Savitar, and they find out that, hey, Julian is actually betraying at first, kind of like the whole Harrison Wells ordeal or the whole Jay Garrick ordeal in season 2. But then he becomes nice, and he helps out the team that way as well, and eventually develops a crush on Caitlin Snow also, but at the cost of dealing with the fact that she is Killer Frost, and that will have an effect on also betraying the team. Now keep in mind, we're going to fast forward this a little bit because I don't want to make this too long of a video, but you're getting the nuts and the shells of everything to expect in the future seasons, and obviously the current season 4, depending on the time of watching this. And throughout that, there is a villain that pops up at the end of season 3. His name is Kadabra, or Abracadabra, and he mentions a nice little hint here. Oh, you will beat Savitar, but he has information he cannot tell. So one thing he does say is a little Easter egg here: a run-in with Clifford DeVoe, or you will meet a guy named DeVoe, but you haven't met him yet, aka the Thinker. That's obviously gonna happen. But before that, he has the hints to how to stop Savitar, and he does not reveal them, but he has his ways of finding that out, and they will find out how to defeat Savitar, and yada yada yada. Julian becomes more of a less important part as the season goes on, but it started out with him and the whole mysterious thing of alchemy, and his suit and his lair, and who is he. And I like the elements of, like, at the beginning of the season they even threw like the Black Racer. I like the Black Racer. That was a nice element. He actually potentially killed Wally West, but then they not killed him or injured him really bad, and it would save him, and that was really nice. I like seeing different types of speedsters and different contributions of what happened in the beginning of the season, and it really tells you, just because of Flashpoint, all this stuff happened. It wasn't supposed to be in the regular Earths, but it alternated after Barry fucked with the timeline. See the continuation of what he does? Yeah, it's an Alan thing. But it's disregarding that, this season will also further by the episode Infantino Street. Now, Infantino Street is where the location of the stabbing of Iris is supposed to happen. They spent all season trying to protect Iris, stop her from getting killed, and they succeeded that. But you would think that she gets stabbed after the ending of one episode and the beginning of another, leading to you to show that, oh, she has the button thing. It wasn't Iris that got stabbed. They tricked Savitar. They killed Harry, so they lost Harry, and Iris did not get killed, and they saved her. So it was very nice of that, but it was a little bit of a sacrifice. And after that happened, they would go on to have a big battle with Caitlin Snow, who betrayed, and with Savitar. And she became nicer. She had the antidote of something that would do something specific to potentially either allow her to keep her powers if she wanted to, or become nicer with them, or just get rid of them in general, bring her back to her normal self and life. After spending some time in the middle of season 3 saying, can I get rid of these? Her mom might have had a cure, but her mom didn't have a cure. Knowing that she was the brains of her operation, but her personal relationship with her parents would suffer a little bit. So other than that, we see that, boom, the big bad fight of Savitar. Barry kicks his ass. The Flash kicks his ass, knocks him out of the suit. The suit turns red, kind of destroys the suit a little bit. Then he's just kind of standing there. He has the ability to kill Barry because Barry wants to show, the real Barry, wants to show Savitar some mercy, but does not because she shoots him, disregarding the fact of him being nice and stuff like that. Seeing good in him, but that is ended ultimately by Iris pretty much shooting him in the fucking back. So that's how that happens. And this, after that, because of what has happened and how it affected also not only the real world but the timeline in general and the Speed Force, there's a big, massive thing in the sky. There's lightning in the sky. There's a disruption in the Speed Force. They have to put someone back in the Speed Force. They took someone out, but they didn't put someone back. They didn't put a speedster back. He was trapped in there. And it allowed a calm series to take place in the Speed Force. Now, without that being allowed, that would mean a mass destruction of the world. So the Speed Force would try to eat Central City and the world around it, obviously, because there are more than one country, nation, etc. and cities. So someone would have to be in it. So Barry would go into the Speed Force, sacrifice himself, and that is the big cliffhanger right there. He would die to save Team Flash, and Team Flash would have to manage. Wally, he would say his goodbyes. Wally would take over as the Flash and become Kid Flash. Well, be a better Kid Flash. And that kind of cliffhangs the season 3, which I was like, oh, fuck. Like, man, I'm so excited. I can't wait for more. But, you know, you can see how all this can kind of add up to a cliche, kind of add up to little like plot holes and stuff as you watch the whole season. And that's a big contributing factor of why many people might like it, might not like it. But I really, really enjoyed it. But besides some of those minor details that I would have changed a couple things around. But other than that, it was a very intriguing season. I'd probably give that season like an 8.5 out of 10, just because of the little plot holes, maybe a 9, but it was really good. It was really enjoyable, and definitely the future seasons I'm sure will be just as great or better. So with that being said, you know, Barry did sacrifice himself. He said his goodbyes, and does he come back? Does he pop out of the Speed Force? Is there a way for Team Flash to reconnect with Barry Allen and the Flash himself? We will find out in the season 4 and the season 4 review. So I want to thank you guys for watching this. If you liked it up, you know, I already said it. Drop a comment. If you want me to see something better in the reviews, let me know. I'll touch it up. Guys, more. You guys take it easy. I'll see you for the next review.